Hi, I'm Klaus.
And I'm Sarah.
Yes, and we work at...
Aarhus University in Denmark.
Yes, and we're going to show you a video about videos. And about us as well.
A little bit about us.
A little bit about
what
us.
we do.
What we do.
Yeah.
So, enjoy.
And this is our staircase at Aarhus University. We don't have any kids to show, we don't have institutions to show, so we got our staircase to show instead. So this is it. This is a video about making videos. To do it in an informal way, in a fun way, in an experimenting way, so that you get a result you didn't count on when you started, like doing this video on the staircase.
No, we don't have any kids, but we have lots of gear here, and we do lots of teaching with different students and teachers. So we just want to tell you a few things about the way we work and how we work with our students and our teachers. It's about just taking things in the moment, working with the resources you have, doing things, trying to be flexible, just being yourself.
So, how to make an interview? Well, you can do it like this. You can see both parties at the same time. I'm the one that asks the questions and Sarah's the one telling you about stuff. So, instead of me being outside the video on the other side, I'm part of it because we're in this together. So, Sarah, tell me about it. What is it they're going to do with this mapping exercise?
When you make this mapping exercise, we'd really like to have a really good picture of who you are, not as a still picture, but as a video or a live representation of who you are as a group of people, who you are as teachers, what's important to you and how you work together. But we also need to know some of the things about what the context is of the place you work in. So what kinds of resources do you have? What do you like working with? What kind of environment is your institution in? Is it in the middle of a woods, or is it by the sea, or is it in a park? Or do you use the park? Do you go to the library? What kinds of other places do you use outside of your institution? And what is your building like? Is it an old building, a new building? Is it on one floor? Has it got stairs in it like we have? We're on the 6th floor. We're in the penthouse suite, so we've got, you know, all this air around us, and we think, you know, really big thoughts. So this is the kind of place we work in. This is a university. So yeah, we're at the top of this really high building, thinking really big thoughts, and we use lots of technology. What kind of technology do you use? What do you have available to you? Do you have robots? Do you have iPads? What kinds of things do you use with your kids, and how do they use them? So can you talk about some of these things, demonstrate some of these things in the video? This is the kind of picture we'd want from you when we want your video presentation.
Sarah?
Yes,
Sarah,
Klaus.
are you there?
Yes, Klaus, I'm here.
Yes. Okay, now you got the mobile phone. Now show me what it is that you find so interesting about this building.
Well, you know, we're on the 6th floor, and you're now down on the 3rd floor, and look at the perspectives we get here. It's about seeing things from different angles. It's about seeing things from a new perspective, understanding your environment and understanding it so that you can use it maybe in a different way that you thought about. Looking across to the people over at the other building who are right up at the top. And then we have this perspective down to the benches where we sit when it's cold. Even when it's cold, we sit out there. Just the sun just needs to shine, and we go back out there and sit. Yeah, so now I'm in our seating area, which is just a sofa, some chairs for people just to sit and maybe read some books or just have a conversation. And Klaus is standing there at the wall, our glass wall, and it's difficult to see him because there's so much reflection in the glass. Actually, Klaus is not really there.
I'm here.
You're here, okay.
So what are you going to show me about that one?
I love this wall because it allows us to draw some things up and to write words, write about the things that we're thinking about. It makes our thoughts visible, it makes our ideas visible to each other, and it means that we have a talking point for what we want to discuss.
So Klaus, when you talked about experimenting communities, and I said it sounded very simple but also very complex, I really love this drawing that you did. Explain this one to us.
Okay. Well, to the left, got a group of kids, and you got the teacher, the preschool teacher, the grown-up. And he or she is outside the process, looking into the process, and is thinking of doing something to these people.
Yeah, because as the teacher, the grown-up, you've got responsibility for whatever the kids are playing with,
Yeah.
whatever the learning process is. So normally, as a grown-up, you are on the outside of this and you have control of that.
Yeah.
But actually, what you want everybody to start thinking about is moving into this kind of process.
Yes.
Can you explain what that is?
Well, this teacher is here now.
Oh,
This
yes.
teacher is still a teacher, still a grown-up, and still a preschool teacher, and that hasn't changed. And these kids are still in the process, but we're in it together. We ask the same questions about technology, or about stories, or about problems that we encounter and we don't know what to do about, and we do it together. And this strange one here, if you notice, is going like this.
Yeah, that's infinity sign, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And it's like this that I try as a teacher to make everybody else as clever and good as possible. And when I do that, they will, because they become more clever, make me more clever. And the more clever I become, the more clever they become. And the more clever they become, more clever I become. So it's this process in between us where everybody is doing something that in principle makes everybody more clever.
Yeah, or you could say that by the teacher starting off by asking a question means that the kids that they're working with work with the question and maybe throw some questions back to the teacher,
Yeah, exactly.
which the teacher then says, well, you know, we have to work on this together, so let's do this, so that more questions.
No.
It's actually a process of creating new questions as well as new answers.
It is.
And as you see, I'm just using my mobile phone. I'm not editing, just moving around, talking directly to you, and that's the basis of it. Do that. Well, you might say you can make mistakes on the way, forget something, speak. Say some wrong words in English, but what you get is to be close to somebody. To be close to the authenticity. But what's the name of that? Authenticity, Sarah. Is that the right word? Can you say that again, please? What's the word?
Authenticity.
Authenticity. That's what you get when you do like this, right? Authenticity.
Yeah, right.